This is Senova.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Rumblings.
And today we are taking a look at Clans of Caledonia Industria. This is the new expansion for Clans of Caledonia, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So this is something I would have done anyways, because I'm so excited for this. I've been excited for an expansion for Clans of Caledonia for years.
Ever.
Because Clans of Caledonia is one of the games I have played the most times. You have played, I think, like 5 or 6 times we came to the conclusion. And I've played it almost 20 times. So it is one of those games that I feel like I know the game. And I can't say that about many games because we play so many different games. So to have the excuse to play this game again made me happy. And in this video we're going to tell you what this expansion is, some thoughts about it, and hopefully you will understand if this will be an expansion for you or not. And basically, if you haven't played Clans of Caledonia, you should.
Yes.
That is like the baseline. Do you agree with that?
It's a great game.
It's a fantastic game. So, let's talk about this expansion. First of all, this comes in a big box. Take up the lid again.
It's so big.
Because this is like a bit more than twice the depth of the base game. And you might wonder, why? Is this that big of an expansion?
No.
It's not. Because in this expansion, you are going to get an insert that fits everything from the base game and the expansion. And remember that everything here is prototype. We already know some changes going to happen to the inserts to make them better, and there are some colors that's going to be different, so everything here is prototype, so you know it. And it fits really great. I really enjoy this insert. I love this little thing for the contracts. I don't know why I'm holding everything. Could you take this? I'm just trying to hold everything at once. That it's very easy to grab new contracts, add them to the board, and you can just play with this, just open it up and have it on the board, so it on the table, so it adds to the ease of play, and all the players gonna get their own little box with everything for one player, which I always enjoy in an insert.
I love that when companies are doing this, because I really, my brain is like, when I have a base game that fits the box perfectly and I get an expansion, I'm just like, doesn't fit anymore. I need 2 boxes now.
Yes.
And this is very satisfying when I can just move everything to the new box.
It's gonna be sad to not have the original box on the shelf because it's kind of always been there. Clans of Caledonia was one of the first videos I ever made, like the review of that. You can go and check it. It's even this like a blooper in the beginning because I uploaded it just before going to Spiel for the first time. So it was one of the first like 3-4 videos I made. And I had like an audio clap at the beginning there because I synced things and didn't know how things worked. So I clapped and it's in there. So you can go and check that. And I have like a beard that is this big. So you can go and check that out.
It's not that big.
No, it's not, but it's like bigger than it is now.
It is.
Let's talk about this. This is kind of, the expansion has kind of 3 parts. Or 2 parts, kind of.
Yeah.
With like the third part being part of the second, but a big part of that second.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first thing, which I think many people is going to get this just for that.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest is going to be, it's there and I don't care if it's good or not, but it's like, this is what I'm here for. And what is that?
Yeah, I'm here for this.
Yes.
It's a new 9 new clans that you can play with.
Of Caledonia.
Yes. So there are more special abilities and ways to play the game with those clans, like these.
Yeah, a couple of examples, not going to go through all of them. For example, Clan Macintosh is like this. Every time you place something adjacent to one of your workers, you're going to get 3 coins. And that's it. It's a very simple action, a very simple one, but it's very nice for beginners. I played this with a player who never played Clans of Caledonia before, and he played with this, and it was just like an easy way to get some money, because money is always tight in Clans of Caledonia. Yep. Clan Fraser, for example, you played with this. You can make kilt makers. So if you have a worker adjacent to a sheep, then you can transform a wool into a kilt, which is basically a joker resource of any processed good.
That was really nice.
And then you have Clan Sinclair, which starts with 1 more shipping, but can never get more shipping, but then can jump. If they pay 2, they can jump over any space on the board in a straight line. So I could jump, nothing here or there. I can jump from there to there, for example. Or you could pay 2 for each space you want to jump over the river. So you can pay for that. But every time you jump over an actual space, you're going to get an upgrade. So you have like many different ways to play. As always, they all feel very good. They all feel very great. Very good and very great. Two very different things. One thing I have to say about the whole expansion is that it's a bit more symbol heavy.
Oh yeah.
Like a bit more
It is.
icon heavy.
I agree.
More things in the base game is like, I understand this. But there is a sheet of the different symbols. So yeah, that is one thing that's
Yes,
more.
that's one thing. There's also 9 more port tiles, which if you play Clans of Caledonia, you know there are in like the edge of the board, so that gives you more opportunities as well. And there is 9 new scoring tiles.
For
Can
the
you show
glory,
that?
the end of
Yes.
round glory tiles.
And yeah, basically new ways to score points at the end of each round, and 4 new double-sided maps, so you get even more variability of how to set up the main board.
Yes, you're gonna have like some of them have a lot of water. You even have this new like river coming out of the mountains. You can have a river even though it doesn't come from a lock, and it adds just to the variability of the game,
Yes.
which I think like even though like I feel like I played this game like 15 times, 16 times before the expansion, and I still like love it every time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more fun now. It's like, oh, exploring new clans and doing all of that. I feel like the clans obviously is gonna be like the biggest change.
Yes.
And the other things are gonna be more, this feels kind of different.
Yeah.
The second part and kind of the third part of the expansion is new things. Is things that are gonna change or things that are new. Tell us all about it.
So one of the things that are new is that you have like an end game award. So there is a new opportunity to score at the end of the game. So there is the most money, the most stuff beside the river, most basic resources, and the most points, basically.
Glory points. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so you
more
have-
of them as well.
So you have that in addition to the normal like area majority on the board and majority on the contract scoring. You also have now the contract display, which is basically the contracts that will be in play when the stock replenishes. So before it was just like a stack and you didn't know what will come, but I really like that we have the opportunity now to see what resources are needed in the future, and also which of these kind of point-giving resources that you will produce with your contracts.
You also get to choose from then when you get, for example, you build all of the advanced building of one type, you would rather, in the base game, you would draw 3, and you would kind of sometimes be, cannot do anything with this, but now you can see, is there anything I want to do, and then time it to that.
Yes.
So I like that strategic element of it. Another small module to the game is the farmer's market. In the beginning of the game, each player is going to get one of these farmer's market tiles. It's going to show one basic good and one processed good. And then they're going to place them on the board, and whenever I build adjacent to it, I will be able to sell those resources. So it works exactly like a neighboring bonus where you could buy resources, but here you get to sell them instead. And with the bonus, it's not now that it's cheaper, but you get it that much more for it. So if, for example, I sell the wheat, I will get 2 more per wheat, and I can sell up to 4 of them to the farmer's market. Then I will place the wheat on top of there. And whenever somebody sells the whiskey, then they will go away and there's a new space that you can build on. That is also going to make the money you get when you pass lower, so that money is a bit tighter if you don't use this. How do you feel about this module?
I like this one, and isn't it right that you could do this action without having these little merchants?
Yes.
I found that really powerful sometimes, so that I can use also those same merchants to buy something that I really needed as well, the same round.
This is like a very small thing. Like, it doesn't change the game a lot.
No.
But I kind of like that because it's very easy to implement. It's gonna make the game a bit tighter because you get less money. I think it's 3 or 4 less money. I think 3, might be 4. So it seems like, 3 money, it's not too much, but it's kind of changing the game a bit. So I enjoy it, but I don't think you probably should play with it the first time you play.
It's a very small change, and the first time you play with this, you're just like, I don't know where to put it. I'm just putting it somewhere that I think I'm going to build towards, so I can use it at some point. But the biggest change in this expansion, the biggest new element, is this train board.
Luckily, since it's a huge board, it takes like
Yes.
as much space as the whole board.
This is
Trains!
this is the most different thing that
Yes.
they've added. So you have this extra board with milestones that you can achieve, which will give you more points at the end of the game. And you can also move your train. And for example, if I move here, I can spend these resources to do the thing that this station says. And this is basically pay something to get something most of the time. And it feels there are very good bonuses on this board, but also it's very expensive. So yeah, you could go and sell whiskey somewhere, like to the local market, and you will get less than 40 coins.
Yeah.
But in this case, you would also have to pay all of these basic resources. So it's like, it's a good trade,
Yes.
but it's an expensive trade.
Yes.
You have to have all the things in order to get some other things.
Yes, but the other reason for doing is that when you do a delivery, you get one of these tokens. And this token is going to be worth points. So you're going to get 2, 5, 9, 14, or 20 points if you do a delivery. And the thing is, you can only do one delivery every round. So if you want to get to the top, you have to do a delivery every round of the game. But you get this. This is a very tiny thing. But this is the only way to be able to do the milestones. So you cannot do a milestone without doing a delivery. So in the beginning of the game, it feels very tight. And the first time I played with the expansion, I basically lost in the first round. Because I was thinking, oh, I need to do one each round. So I worked very hard to do on the first round. And I basically spent everything I had. I had no way to get back like my economy. I'm usually good at this game, but that time, I basically spent like the first 3 rounds getting to do anything because of that one delivery. So it kind of tricked me into feeling like I need to do that the first round, which I think is going to be hard. I think it's going to be very hard for you to get to this station, which is just going to be a building you can place, because the first round is so crucial to set up your economy for the rest of the game. But you get these and then you can do the milestones. So later on, let's say I already did 2. So I have another milestone I can do, or almost. I can do a delivery. It costs me some resources. I get a cool bonus. But I also get these 4 points and also 8 more points. So it's 12 points to do that one thing. So it's a very interesting mechanism. It's kind of cool because I think you could basically ignore it.
Yeah, you could, but the time we played when you did all of them and I did 0,
Yes.
Then you could not ignore it. But I like that they're visible from the get-go, so you can already from the start of the game try to plan for this. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because I really enjoy this module, but I don't think you should play with it when you begin playing the game.
No.
Because it adds a layer of things, because the game is already pretty intricate. This is very easy to implement.
Yes.
And this is also very easy rules-wise to implement. But I think, as I said, like if you play with somebody who does this and know the game well and does this good, and the other player is just doing something over here, I think this player might win if they still play good in the game. So, but I enjoy this. There's a bit of interaction with, if I move over somebody else, then I have to pay them 3 coins. When you play with 2 players, you also get this tiny train that's trying to do something to block the other player, to make the board, because the board is the same size. And when you do the milestones, you also unlock other pots. So let's say I really want to get this bonus. I have to do this milestone first, because or else I cannot go into this space. And also the fact that you can only move 1 or 2 spaces each round. So for example, last game I was here, I wanted to do this. I couldn't because it's more than 2 spaces to get there.
Yes.
So I feel like this is kind of like an advanced module.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it kind of tricks you and it feels very overwhelming, but the bonuses are so good. And they feel like everything from like getting a lot of money in the end of the game doesn't really matter for me to take out 2 dudes. In the beginning, it's a big thing. But the last round, taking 2 dudes off the map,
That's fine.
Doesn't matter. I get 30 coins. I can use them for more stuff. I could even use those 30 coins to place those dudes out again if it was important to me. So I really like this. I think this is going to be I don't think you're buying the expansion for this. But if you have played the game a lot, I think you will enjoy this.
I agree. There's also a possibility to play with the milestones without having the trains. But we haven't tried that. No. But it is a possibility to do that.
I like that as well. So you can like add the milestone thing, because I always enjoy like the milestones, the goals that you rush towards in real life things. So who is this for? And we have a rating for expansions, which is must get. This is something you should have, should get, and should have, which is kind of like, it's there, it's good. It might not need it, like it doesn't make the game amazing. Look, it's not like
It's not
doesn't
fixing
elevate
a
the game.
problem
Yeah,
with
thank
the
you
game.
for helping me with
Yes.
English. And not needed, which is you don't need it. Pretty self-explanatory. I think who is this for? If you like Clans of Caledonia,
Yeah,
I think that's it.
That's
Like
obviously.
if you like it and you think you're gonna play it, like obviously if you like it and you never play it, or you played it once or twice, you might just play the base game because it's a lot to explore in the base game.
Yes.
So I think this is gonna be for people who have played the game quite a bit and who wants more, basically. So what do you think? What is your rating for this one?
For me, this is a should have. I like this expansion. We have started on a top 10 list multiple times that are games that should have an expansion.
Yes.
And Caledonia has so far been the only game on that list, so we
Yes.
haven't completed it. But
No, we never
we've
can.
been looking forward to an expansion for a long time. And even though you have like this expectation, you don't know how an expansion is gonna change the game. I really like the variability that it now offers, and also that you have this advanced mode kind of that I feel like with something also a little different that you can do. So for me, this is a should have. It's not fixing the game because
Nope.
the game is so good on its own. If you don't play this game a lot, you don't need this to have a lot of to explore in general. But for me, we play this game, especially you, a lot. So for me, this is a should have.
Yeah, this is for me a must-have expansion, and not because it fixes the game in any way, because I think I could have played Clans of Caledonia 50 more times and still really enjoyed it, but the added variability. So of course, if you play this one time and you have it on the shelf and thinking, should I get the expansion? It's not gonna fix the game. But if you love the game and you like us need like an excuse to play the game again, maybe you should. But the added variability is just amazing. I love this.
Yes.
This farmers
Really
market
nice.
is good. It's not like, oh, you have to get it because of the farmers market.
No.
I think the must-have for me is the variability of the clans and this. This is of course very easy to just play in the base game. If you have it, you just put out these
Oh, that's
tiles on
true.
the board.
Yes.
But other than that, like this, I really like it. But it's not like, oh, this was what was missing from Clans of Caledonia. It is great, but it's not like you have to run out and get it because of the train module. But it's very good. I will say that if you don't have Clans of Caledonia, this is probably going to be a great way to get Clans of Caledonia. And if you look at Clans of Caledonia and think this is a game I'm going to like, then you could probably just get the expansion as well, because then you get the insert, you get everything together, and that is probably going to be a pretty good value. Because if you want to get a base game and an insert, probably you could just buy the expansion. Of course, we cannot tell you what to pay your money for, what you spend your money on. This is just our opinions of this expansion and a prototype. So yeah, that's going to be the end.
Yes.
Subscribe to the channel because you can. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.